Hot 91, the soul of VA. I'm Alana Mercedes, and it is 12 o'clock on a Wednesday, so you already know what time it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Club Creative. And today on Club Creative, we're joined by an artist whose work is intentional, personal, and overall just touching. Tyler Donavan has built a raw sound rooted in resilience, introspection, and reflection, and it's being felt all over the 757. From navigating a life-changing surgery to releasing a body of work that feels super vulnerable and also visionary, he's been steadily carving out a lane in Virginia's hip-hop scene that's impossible to ignore. So, of course, today we're getting into the music, the journey, and what's to come for Tyler Donavan. So, Tyler, welcome to Club Creative.
Wow, thank you for having me. This is a full circle moment. We were talking off the mic and how I wanted to do radio as a kid.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a radio DJ. So now this is my first in studio radio interview, and who else than Alana Mercedes?
Period. I love
Very
that.
happy
I'm
to
so
be here.
happy to have you here, of course. I definitely want to talk, because we did talk a bit off air about your musical start, your musical beginnings. Before you started making music yourself, though, talk to us a little bit about where music entered the equation in your life.
Oh, from the womb. My mom, she, both my parents were in the Air Force, and so they were both in a group called Tops in Blue, which was basically like USO or just touring around different bases and performing for the troops.
Mm-hmm.
And so from a child, I'm at rehearsals, I'm at shows, I'm at all of these things, I'm in studios. So it kind of was just ingrained into me. Church choir kid, school choir kid. That's just where it kind of where it started. And then I picked up rap about like middle school-ish. This was around the time 8 Mile came out. So of course, just everyone's just randomly
Freestyling.
battling, you know what I mean? And no one really ever, I wouldn't say I was a shy kid, but I kept to myself. And so I got picked on a lot with my weight and not having a lisp and wearing glasses and just all the little ridiculous
The things that kids make fun of.
Yeah, kids got to be kids, so I get that. But so someone decided to do a freestyle rap about me during lunch one day, and they didn't expect me to retaliate, and I did. And they looked at me like, huh?
Like he has this in him?
Yeah, it was literally the record stopped, and then for the next 2 months, just people were just walking up and just randomly just trying to battle, and so that's just kind of where it started, and then went from there. Just started doing just Lil Wayne style mixtapes where I just find beats that I liked and just rapped on them, and it just kind of went from there.
That is incredible. I love how it started off. It feels like a High School Musical moment almost, when you're in school and you're battle rapping the kid, and it's oh, we didn't know he had this in him. But absolutely. So it's kind of something that's been embedded in you since childhood, something you've always been exposed to. When you chose to do rap yourself, I know you started off with the name Tyler Righteous.
Yeah.
So when did you make that name switch?
So it was initially just Righteous, and then I added on Tyler Righteous because I figured Righteous was a little too general. I don't know. I can't remember the exact time where I switched it, but it was just kind of I don't know. I feel like I was kind of getting pigeonholed into the Christian rapper lane, which there's nothing wrong with that, and there's an incredible move of the Christian hip hop going on right now. So it's but back then it was I don't know, and I was still kind of insecure about my faith and stuff like that. I was working that out. So I was oh, well, let me just switch to Donavan, which is my middle name. And I was well, I saw Anderson .Paak put a dot in front of his name, so let me put a dot at the beginning and the end of my name. That lasted for maybe 2 weeks. And then,
and there's all right, that's enough of that.
It's not going to work. So then it went to Tyler Donavan, which is my first and middle name. Inspired by Kendrick, but also just a lot of my music is very authentic, very personal, as you said earlier, vulnerable, so they feel like journal entries. So it felt easier to just use my real name.
Yes.
And also it's easier to spell on show flyers, even though I love y'all to death sometimes. Y'all still spell it wrong. It's Donavan, please.
I feel like that is so hard to mess up. How do you mess that up? But I get it. So, of course, your name, of course, it's tied to that personal experience that you write about, that vulnerability that you pour into people. Now, has it always been easy, though, to do something like that? I know for me personally, I love and admire vulnerability, but it's not always easy to exhibit.
Yeah.
So when it comes to your music, does putting it into music make it easier for you to do so?
Yeah, I mean, I think it came from what I grew up on, and so when I'm a kid or middle school, I'm listening to a lot of Linkin Park. Like I'm a big Linkin Park fan, and so and Mike Shinoda is like one of my favorite. He's like one of my biggest influences ever.
Wow.
So and he's always been very vulnerable, and so just hearing that early on, hearing early Kanye early on, hearing Lupe Fiasco, Tribe Called Quest, like just kind of going down that rabbit hole. If you will, it made it easier. It for me, it always just felt like music was the easiest way for me to express myself. I feel like if I'm just in normal conversation, I either get not misunderstood, but I fear that I'll get misunderstood, and I feel that with music, it's a little bit easier because it's intention and it's kind of set up so where it's like you hear exactly what it is I'm trying to say.
Yes, and I think a lot of people could attest to that. Like music in general is a language I think that we all speak. So it's easier to be understood through a language that, we all understand. I don't know, I feel like it allows people to accept more vulnerability without feeling uncomfortable or feeling, because it's something that others can relate to. You know what I mean? Now, you originally also you've been open actually about your spinal surgery and recovery. Now, tell us a little bit, for those who don't know, a little bit about that story, that backstory, and kind of how that affected you or shifted you as far as making music goes.
Yeah. So in 2018, I had what was called spinal stenosis surgery. Basically, the best way I've learned to describe it is my spine had kind of leaned a little bit. It kind of looked like the Michael Jackson Smooth Criminal lean in a way. It's
a good visual. I understand now.
I have an X-ray. I'll send it to you. But, and so because of that, I had some permanent nerve damage, which left me with what's called drop foot, which is basically like partial paralysis. It's like when your feet fall asleep.
Yes.
So that's basically that's been what I've dealt with since 2018.
Wow.
And initially, I wasn't supposed to be walking. I had to stay in the hospital about a month after the surgery, and there's a lot of physical therapy and a whole bunch of stuff. But yeah, they were kind of set on me being in a wheelchair, and I just was like, that just doesn't, I just don't think that's what I'm supposed to be doing. So I asked them to keep me for another week. We did a bunch of grueling tests. It was a pain, but they sent me home with a walker. I had the walker for maybe about 8-9 months, and then I transitioned to the cane, which has pretty much become a signature now.
Yeah, low-key, yeah.
But yeah, and so because of that, and just there's still like permanent nerve damage, so that's why like I perform sitting down, which is usually like a talking point. But I think it's become more of an advantage for me because I get to really focus. I'm a wordsmith. I'm a lyricist. Like I'm a songwriter. Like I really put a lot of intention into what it is that I write. And so, and I like to consider myself to be a pretty dynamic performer. So even with sitting down, I'm able to still engage a crowd, and they have to focus more on what it is I'm saying than like a whole bunch of random antics and or just trying to jump around to keep people's attention. So what started as what I thought was going to be a major inconvenience has kind of become my superpower. So it's really, really cool.
That is powerful. That is incredible. And we were talking a little off air about the first time that I saw you perform was back in 2022, I believe in December at Smart Mouth. And I was just in awe. Like everybody, there was a lot of performers that night, but few of them stood out to me. And I may not remember exactly what song it was you were performing, but I do remember I was captured by it, you know? Of course, absolutely. So obviously, like I said, it's that vulnerability. It's the fact that you are intentional with your lyrics. You know, I think that, I don't know, a lot of people can just appreciate that, you know? Now, with your works also, they kind of have an order to them. So talk to me a little bit about the way that you've put your music into chapters.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, great. No one's ever asked me about this before. This is why Club Creative is the best.
Come on.
Yeah, so when I was recovering from my surgery, my physical therapist just kept telling me, you know, if you have breath in your lungs, it's for a reason. And my pastor used to say that all the time. He still does. And I don't know, just the idea of breath just popped in and it just kind of stuck. And so I always had an album concept called Gasping for Air that was going to be broken into 2 acts, inhale and exhale. Inhale more of the kind of like chill, feel-good songs. Exhale's more of the introspective, like reflective type stuff. They initially, I did a Breathe EP in 2019, which is basically just demos from Gasping for Air. And then I did the Inhale EP, and I think that was the one that kind of started to spread around a little bit, and that was in 2020. And then I kind of shifted gears and then took a little bit more time and then put out Gasping for Air as a full album in 2023.
Yes.
So yeah, I've been kind of on a breathing kick. My next project is actually in that same vein. It's called Second Wind. Yeah, exclusive.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just kind of following in that. It just makes it easier. I love albums with like deep narratives and things like that. And so keeping that theme going, I think, helps connect it with the audience.
Absolutely. Well, describe to me the mental headspace that you were in creating each act, is what I'll call it, of Gasping for Air. Like, Inhale, you said, is more of a chill vibe. You know, like, what was the headspace in creating that, as opposed to Exhale?
So kind of overall, Gasping for Air was just. There's a phrase that I always hear where it's like you live your whole life, or you wait your whole life, or you work your whole life to make your first album. And so that's kind of like what the approach was for Gasping for Air. Was just kind of, it was honestly inspired a lot by J. Cole, Forest Hills Drive, because it was kind of that same narrative from beginning to end. And so that's kind of how I looked at it, where I had the Inhale and Exhale, the two title tracks are like the prologues, and then it went into Assembly, which is probably one of my more popular songs that people sing along to all the time at shows. And that was like high school me. And so that was kind of like the start of just high school Tyler and kind of figuring this whole life thing out.
Yeah.
And then it kind of just went from there. So mental headspace, it was interesting because on one end, it was like, okay, I'm revisiting a lot of these like old memories, but then on the other end, it's kind of like, I know that this is at a point there was a lot going on, and this project felt like a burden almost. But I knew that I had to put this out first because it's my origin story. So now that I have this, if I want to go and do a dance record, I can do it. If I want to go do a country record, I can do it. But I have that core already.
Yeah.
And instead of just doing a bunch of just random songs that I think sound tight, it's like an actual story. So,
like, you laid the foundation for people to understand.
Exactly. So that way, when people need a reference point, or if someone finds me 5 years from now and they're like, oh, who is that guy? They have a full body of work from beginning to end that still holds up, that it kind of sets the scene.
Yes. What an intelligent way to create. I think that is incredible.
I'm a student. I'm a student, man. Like that's. I grew up on Lupe. I grew up on Nicholas F. I grew up on Kanye. I grew up on Kendrick. Like, I'm just really intentional about my music. So.
I love it, as it should be, as a true artist would do.
You know what I mean?
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Tyler Donovan in the building for Club Creative on Hot 91, the soul of VA. Hot 91, the soul of VA. I'm Alana Mercedes, and for Club Creative Hour today, we are joined by the musical artist, the lyricist, Tyler Donovan of the 757. Now, Tyler, we were talking a bit about, of course, the intention and order behind the music that you created, and I wanted to get into your song Crescendo because it hit me, like, I don't know why, but it definitely hit home for me. Like, it's just, It's a really moving piece.
Thank you.
So what was it like for you? Because I know you wrote that song following your rehabilitation.
Yeah.
So what was it like for you creating that song, and what kind of release did it give you after going through something so mentally traumatic? To most, it would be.
Yeah. No. Crescendo was interesting just because I was at kind of like a crossroads where I needed to decide what musical direction that I really wanted to go in. I was just kind of in my head a lot about how these songs are going to perform, how am I going to tour, how am I going to do these things, and I've always loved just some hard-hitting energy type songs. I like songs that build up over time, and so it honestly was just something that I just made for me. I found a sound from another Virginia producer named T. Watt, who's really, really dope. And then I just kind of built the beat. I just made the beat around it. And then I was actually going to try to send it to somebody.
The beat?
Yeah. So I produce probably like 90% of my stuff that's out.
Oh, that's dope.
I produce. And I've worked with other producers as well. But yeah, I just built the beat around it, and it was just like, I just wanted to make this for me. I didn't really plan on putting it out. I didn't plan on performing it. I didn't plan on it being one of my biggest songs, it was just something that I just made for me because I just wanted to make it. And then my friends kind of bullied me into putting it out.
As good friends do. When they know you got something good, you know?
Yes. So that's when it was like, okay, we put it out. And I think the song itself is really good, but I also think the video that was along with it,
dope.
that I always kind of had it. For those that haven't seen it, I had like a concept where I went. It was kind of like the evolution where it went from the monkey to the human, but for me it was from wheelchair to walker, then walker to cane, then cane to without the cane. I had that concept for. Honestly, since I was in the hospital.
Wow. You already saw through to the healing and everything. You just knew it was happening.
Well, because I needed to. Otherwise, that would have it would have been bad. There were some rough nights for sure. So yeah, that was kind of like what kept me going was like music. And when like it's still a goal of mine to play the Norva. I haven't played the Norva yet, but that was like motivation for me and just to continue to do what it is that I'm here to do. My voice still works, even if my back is broken. My voice still works. So.
Your voice, your mind, the music, it all still works. It all still makes sense. Now, during that recovery, I know that obviously there are some lows, and sometimes it can be hard to pull yourself out of them. I've never been in a situation like yours, but I've been, I don't know, mentally down before, thinking that it's almost impossible to see the light at the end of the tunnel, you know what I mean? So outside of music, was there anything else, whether it was your community, your family, whomever, that kind of kept you afloat and kept you moving to make music? Because I feel like some would even want to give up rather than how you saw it, where it's like, no, I already saw the vision of what I want this video to look like. But how was that for you?
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head, community. I feel like sometimes that is a buzzword that people don't really understand. I think sometimes people say community when they mean audience. And for me, I genuinely mean community. Especially the creative community here. I'm not from here. I'm from Stafford, Virginia. So I came down here for school, and I just kind of fell in love with the area, and I never left. Well, I did leave, but then I came back. But no, just the encouraging messages that I would get from artists, producers, just people that just love the creative scene here. Obviously my family, obviously my friends, and they know how much I love music, so they weren't gonna let me. They weren't
fall.
Like because they know that that's where I'm happiest. They know that that's where I'm my truest self. That's where my purest self is. That's where my spirit thrives. So it's like, it was one of those things where it's just like, okay, we just have to adjust, you know. And I think someone showed me, I forget what award show it was, but it was Michael Jackson, and he performed in a chair. And I was like, okay, if Michael Jackson can do it, I can't.
I could absolutely do it. Yeah.
So but it was never. I don't think there was ever a moment where I was like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. It was just more so like, okay, this isn't ideal. How do we convert it? Because this is, you know, I believe that we all have a call. We all have a purpose. I say we all have a cloud to follow, and mine is music. So
that's so poetic.
Yeah,
we all have a cloud to follow.
Yeah.
I love that. And I like what you said about that piece where some people think of community as an audience. That was. Cause
nothing wrong with that. I'm
not gonna say it's anything. I want to say it's nothing wrong with it, but maybe it is just. It's still a misunderstanding, in my opinion. It's something that I think should be corrected. But what has your experience been like here with community? Because I know that you said, okay, obviously you're from Stafford. You came here and you stayed here for the area. But being that you're an artist here, what has your relationship been like with other Virginia creatives, other Virginia artists?
Incredible, and it's funny because I haven't really collaborated with a lot of people, just because of how personal music is for me and how I just use it as like a release and things of that nature. I've obviously collaborated with people, but not nearly as much as I would like to, and that is something that I feel like I'm in a position now where I feel more comfortable doing that. I felt like I still had work to do. I still had to establish myself. But yeah, no, as far as the community goes, the creative community has been absolutely incredible to me. There have been times they've been more supportive and believed in me more than I have. Like you had Raisa on here from Utopia Fenny, who I will never be able to sing her praises enough just for the opportunities that she gave me. I did my first album release party at Utopia Fenny. She's, along with Gabe Niles, is the reason why I got to do Something in the Water in 2023. And And she's just always looked out for me. And there's a gang of people. We wouldn't have time to list everybody, but I'm very appreciative and very aware of kind of like the unique spot that I'm in, because we do see it where like people start coming up in Virginia or people start coming up in here, and then for whatever reason, whether it's just they reach a certain level of success or whatever the case may be, and then there's just a shift. There's just an attitude shift, and we've seen it. I've personally seen it too many times for it to be a coincidence. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's bitterness. I don't know if it's jealousy. I don't know if it's crabs in a bucket mentality.
So I've heard.
That just doesn't. I just don't understand why that's still the case. There isn't like one proverbial spot. You know what I mean? Like, we all have the internet. We all have our talents. We all have our gifts. So like, and there's plenty of people here for us all to have our audiences. And if we just focus on building our own audience, and then we can cross those audiences over by doing shows and events and stuff like that, then that's how we build it up. I've never felt, obviously I'm a rapper at the end of the day, so there's friendly competition, you know what I mean? But like, it's never, I've never felt like jealous of anybody. I've never felt like, oh, I should be in their spot, because if I ever feel that way, then that's more of a testament to the work that I've done or that I haven't done.
Yep.
So, so for me personally, I can't speak for everybody else. My relationship with the 757 creative community is absolutely amazing. They're super, super supportive. They're the reason why I continue to do music and put it out, because I could just make music and just keep it for me to listen to, but at one point I was like I don't want to say fake humble, but I don't think I really accepted kind of like the love that I got, because I just always felt like I had more work to do. But I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed for the amount of encouragement that I get. And of course I would always find a way to be like, oh, it's just because I had the surgery, or oh, it's just because of that. But it's like, no, like, people are, the creative scene has just been very, very good to me. And so thank you, 757. Thank you for adopting me as one of your own. I love you. And here to wave that flag as long as I can.
I love it. And like I said, I love how community is plays such a big role in also your mentality. When you said the fake humble thing, I know it's not like a real thing. Like, it's not really fake humble as much as it is that you just haven't really experienced the depths of what it really means to accept fully maybe yourself, your craft, your place in other people's lives. Like, I get that. I felt that before. So with that being the case, with Virginia this part of Virginia rather, having shown you so much love, is there anything that you think we can do to better support each other in our crafts? Because I don't like the crabs in the bucket mentality. I don't like the idea that you have to step on your brother's head to get it to the next space or whatever. I don't. I feel like we have so much, like you said, so much talent here, as well as enough people to where everybody can have their pocket.
Exactly.
So is there anything you think we could do to better support each other in this community?
That's always the funny question, because if I had the answer, I'd be doing it.
Yeah, I feel that.
You know, I think we're all trying to figure it out. I know for me personally, having more spaces to perform would be awesome. Having more venues, and I think seeing like the Annex and seeing what they've been able to do, you know, I think we need more spaces like that, even if it's just like 100 cap rooms, 150 cap rooms. We have enough talent here where if there's like a 100 cap room, someone can sell that out
for sure.
And then there are people that I say it all the time. Shout out to Marv P. That's the homie. I feel like he is at a position where, like, if he decided he wanted to do a show at the Annex in 2 months, he could sell that out. Absolutely.
I agree.
With the amount of work that he does. Now, Marv, if you did that, I want a spot.
Like, let me open up something.
Let me get 15 minutes, my G. But no, I think for what it is that we could be doing, if there was an answer to that, I think just leaning all the way into the craft. I think sometimes we get so caught up with promotion and marketing and trying to get into the algorithm, which is super important. We're fighting an attention battle. But what are you going to do when you have that attention? If you're doing the same thing that somebody else is doing, or if you're just doing something that was a carbon copy of what you saw on YouTube, people are eventually going to see through that. I think what's been beneficial to me is I do have like a unique approach to how I present my work. I mean, granted, like I said, I'm performing sitting down, so that alone is kind of like a unique thing. But just how I market, how I edit my videos, how I do my graphics, there's always intentionality behind it, but it is a little left of whatever is going on. And I think that's just, if I feel like Virginia, if we look at Timbaland, if we look at the Neptunes, if we look at Missy, if we look at just all of the people who we champion, the biggest thing that was like what's in the water is individuality. And
Absolutely.
for some reason, I don't know why we don't want to lean into that. And I think the people that do stand out are the people that do lean into that. There is no one like Cameron Parker. There is no one like Al Doms. There is no one like Boris the Lucid or Borland, excuse me. Era Hardaway. Like there are these acts that are genuinely themselves. And I think Shan, who is a superstar in my mind, and she is herself, and she's her fullest self with music, and I think that's what connects. I think we're at a point now where everything is so cookie cutter that when you can feel something real, that's what gravitates.
That's what attracts people.
Exactly.
To be your fullest, most authentic self.
That's as Virginia as it's gonna get. Like, Virginia doesn't have a defined sound. We pinpoint it to the artists that are the pioneers of it. But Tim doesn't sound like P. P doesn't sound like Pharrell. Doesn't sound like Chad by himself. Pharrell and Chad don't sound like everyone has their own unique sound. That's what the Virginia sound is. It's just leaning completely into who you are and how you want to express yourself.
I love that.
So,
Absolutely.
let's just do that.
And exactly. I totally agree. Let's all just be ourselves, okay, and watch each other pop, because that's really what it's all about.
And root and cheer people on. Like, no one is taking your spot, bro. Like, there's room for everybody.
I agree.
Like, I was at ODU, and when I was at ODU, that was the same time Era Hardaway was there, Intellect was there, Masego was there, and we're all doing shows at the same time, and we're going and supporting each other. Like, but everyone had their own lane. There's nothing wrong with championing people. Like, we always say, like, you have to leave Virginia to make it, which, okay, there's some truth in that in regards to infrastructure and stuff like that. But when was the last time you genuinely rooted on somebody that was doing something really, really dope and you didn't want something from them? Like, when was the last time that happened? Like, I don't know.
No, you know, and you're onto something. You're right. I think that we all could just do a better job, like in the community in general, supporting each other. And yes, not wanting anything back. Yeah. Period. I don't think that's so hard.
Because then that's when the opportunities will come up. I can't say that I've ever been super strategic where I went to go support somebody's platform just because I wanted to be on their platform.
Yeah, no way.
Like, I did it just because it's really dope, and where I'm from in Stafford, we don't have stuff like that. Like, we don't have stuff like Social Supply in Stafford. You know what I mean? So it's like, to be able to experience that and just to be able to experience it as a consumer and as a fan of music, like, I want to help.
It's a great experience.
I want to help push that.
Yeah.
So, and then that's when opportunities come. Just genuine support. Like, people can see through. People can see through the fake.
People can see through the fake, yes. Pure wisdom here, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. Tyler Donovan still in the building for Club Creative on Hot 91, the soul of VA. Hot 91, the soul of VA. I'm Alana Mercedes. Tyler Donovan in the building for Club Creative. And Tyler, obviously, you already let me in on it, okay, on the new music that's happening. So I'm very excited about that. But what is next for Tyler Donovan? Let the world know.
Yeah, I am working on a EP project, mixtape, whatever. At this point, it's just a project.
A body of music.
A group of songs.
There we go.
And it's called Second Wind, which is following up after the album Gasping for Air. Gasping for Air was, looking back on it now, it's like a work that kind of came out of desperation. Like I said earlier, it was like, I needed to put this out, not just to establish myself as an artist, but just to put myself out there and just kind of be like, hey, this is where I'm at. After Gasping for Air dropped, some cool things happened. It got nominated for Album of the Year by the Veer Awards, and that was really cool. Shout out to the Veer Awards, thank you. But I kind of just hit a wall. It was kind of like there was a big weight lifted, and I didn't really have my legs under me. And so this project, Second Wind, is kind of like documenting like getting back into stride. We were initially going to put it out as just an EP and just put it out, but I am going to put it out as like a series of songs.
Nice.
To kind of build that momentum back up. So I'm really excited. The first song, which is called Only You, comes out everywhere on August 14th. Super excited about that. Super like kind of dance vibey type song. A little bit left of what I'm known for. Usually I'm known for like the serious rapidy raps or songs about heartbreak.
But like you said, you laid the foundation. We know who you are. Now you can like branch out and do what it is that you want, really.
Yeah. So that song in particular was just something I always wanted to do. I always wanted to have a song people could dance to and just have a good time and kind of just shake off the week. And yeah, I finally did it. Shout out to Only You Bar and Lounge. And
okay, I was like, because when I looked at the cover art, I'm like, all right, that looks like Only You. Yes. So
shout out to Sheila. Shout out to my homegirl Sheila who did the artwork. She
excellent job. Oh my goodness.
That. It was referencing Social Supply. I was watching a Social Supply set at Only You. I think it was the Sasha Marie set, and I found a beat. And was just like, you know what? If I'm gonna do it, let's just do it right now. The song is about a year old. I've been sitting on it for a year. Yeah, because it was like, oh, I want to put it out at the right time, and I want to do this. And I'm just like, I just want to put this out, and hopefully it'll be something that people play, whether it's in the car, whether it's getting ready to go out, whether it's at the function, whatever. I just play it and play it loud, and I hope that people enjoy it.
Yes, I think they will. I love it. And I think I'm going to go ahead and spill the beans that we might be playing it here today.
Oh, yeah.
I have a little debut, for Only You.
World premiere.
World premiere, because it is a really vibey song. To me, it was definitely getting ready to go out. Like, it's high energy. It just makes you feel good. Yeah. Like, it's a cute song. So I think we will go ahead and debut it today. Now, also, before I forget, I meant to ask, I like how this is kind of unrelated, not really though, but gasping for air, I like how the reference, if it's intentional, the name, in comparison to how you were feeling with how you were saying, like, I just need to get this out, like, I just need to lay the foundation basically so I can move forward from this.
Yes.
Where was the title specific to that, or like?
Yes. Okay. Yes, I get to explain the lore.
Because I love the title. So before I forget, yes.
So I am a huge NERD fan. Their second album, Fly or Die, is my favorite album of theirs. And on the title track, there's a lyric that says, gasping for air makes the righteous path harder to choose. When I was going by Righteous, my initial debut album title was going to be My Righteous Path, which was still referencing that same
song,
lyric.
Yep.
So I made a song, I think it was Intervention off of the album. And I just needed a folder to put it into my laptop. I don't know why gasping for air came to mind. I don't know. That's just how I felt at the time. And so I put it in, and then I went back to doing what I was doing, and then I came back maybe about an hour later, and I was like, wait a minute. And then I went to go search the lyrics, and I was like, oh, okay, this is
divine intervention.
No, exactly.
Yeah, like it's necessary.
It was downloaded. So yeah, that's kind of like the underlying lore of the Gasping for Air title, and then just it continues with the breathing kick.
Yes.
And so that, again, it didn't come from me.
I love it though. I love the intentionality behind it. It all just fell into place then. It was perfect.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Shay.
Of course. Thank y'all for everything that you're doing in Virginia.
Yeah.
And lastly, of course, I have to ask all of my creatives, being that I'm just going to say a Virginian in general, but 757 specific for sure. What is the stamp or print that you want to leave on Virginia, the Tyler Donovan legacy, if you would? What is it that you want to be left behind?
That you don't have to leave. You can travel, and obviously, like, you make your moves, but, like, if this can be your home base and you can be a successful musician, I've seen it.
Push is doing it.
Push is,
yeah,
right.
The Clips is doing it, yeah,
and very well.
Yeah.
Might I add? Like, yeah, no, and you know, I love it here. I consider myself settling down here. Like, this is home for me, and so, you know, obviously, like, I'll have to make my moves to the bigger markets and make my name out there, but this is home base, and it's a perfect pace for me. And we all have the internet. So it's like I can communicate with my audience how I need to. Plus, just with my health stuff, I do have to take that into consideration where, like, I can't be in a super busy city all the time. I'm home. I go where I need to go. I come back. So that would be what I would want to leave behind. And also, again, we talked about it earlier, just being yourself.
Yes.
Like, in this day and age where everything feels like we're in the Matrix, like, human, especially like with AI and all of these things, human connection is so important, and we need it if we're going to continue to, thrive and pass it on to our future generations. I want to be a father one day, and so I want to be able to implement that into my children of like, hey, you can be yourself, and this is what it can be in store for you.
Absolutely. So. That is so inspiring, and I 100% agree with that. Be yourself.
And follow the cloud, man.
And follow the cloud. Maybe that needs to be a project of yours too. Follow the cloud. Listen to, of course, if we want to listen to the music, we want to contact you. Drop the socials.
TylerDonavan.com, TylerDonavan.com. You can pre-save Only You right now to your favorite DSPs. Again, it comes out on August 14th. You said this is live, right?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So I'm performing on August 8th at the 24th Street stage for free Summer Sound Wave. Shout out to Antidote Agency. Show starts at 8. If you go to my Instagram, which is just Tyler Donavan with an _, that's also my Twitter. That's also my TikTok. I'm working on Facebook.
No, seriously, same.
But there's a link directly there. You just RSVP and you get free access. And then, again, Only You comes out August 14th.
It comes out August 14th, but I'm going to preview it for you guys today, so make sure you're listening in. Tyler, thank you so much for your time and for your wisdom today. Thank you for sharing your story with us. Truly, I'm rooting for you, so I'm excited to see what you have going.
And really quick, I just have to give you your flowers on air. Thank you for what you're doing. This is something that's really, really cool, and it's something that's really, really needed. So just thank you for putting a spotlight on the talent that is here. It really means more than you probably know.
Probably.
So just please know that you are in high regard and you're doing exactly what it is you're supposed to be doing.
Thank you so much.
God
wow.
bless you, and may you just continue to succeed. We love seeing it. I'm rooting you on, man.
Thank you so much, Tyler. God bless you too. I truly appreciate that. Like, it's one thing to feel it, but to hear it, something about it, I don't know.
Absolutely.
But thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Have your mental health moment with Mercedes up next on Hot 91, the soul of VA.